Good evening, everybody. Today is the 7th of July. Welcome to Voices of British Orthodoxy. I am, of course, Rita Lazar. Our first saint of the day is Saint Hedda, and he is from the 8th century. The book entry goes as follows. Saint Hedda, a native of Essex, received monastic tonsure and instruction at the famed double monastery of Saint Hilda of Whitby. In AD 676, he was consecrated Bishop of Wessex by Saint Theodore of Canterbury, 19th September, with his episcopal seat in Dorchester on Thames. For reasons now unknown, St. Hedda later moved his seat to Winchester. According to St. Bede the Venerable, who we commemorated back on the 25th of May, he was a good and just man and exercised his episcopal duties rather through an innate love of virtue than through the learning he had acquired. As bishop, St. Hedda was a benefactor of Malmesbury Abbey. He may have ordained St. Guthlac, who we commemorate back on the 11th of April, to the priesthood, and he assisted King St. Ina of Wessex in drawing up a code of laws for his subjects. St. Hedda reposed AD 705 with his relics, and his relics were enshrined in the cathedral at Winchester, where they remain to this day. Both St. Bede the Venerable and 12th century English historian William of Malmesbury affirmed that many miracles were worked through intercessions at his tomb. His entry in the group chat just simply says, St. Hedda, Bishop of West Saxons, 705, which I presume is his death. Next saint, is Saint Maelruin, and he is also from the 8th century. Saint Maelruin was the founding abbot of the famous monastery of Talacht in County Dublin, Ireland, assisted by Saint Angus, who we commemorated back on the 11th of March. Assuming he was in the original, assuming he's in the book. Saint Maelruin began the compilation of the Martyrology of Tala, and he and Saint Angus are also joint authors of the Rule of Celide. Saint Maelruin reposed in AD 792 and was succeeded as abbot of Tala by Saint Angus. In the group chat, it just simply says Saint Maelruin of Talot, bracket Maelruin. I've probably butchered the name, do forgive me. Anyway, founder of monastery of Talot in County Dublin, Ireland, 787. In brackets, which could be his death. The next entry is for brothers Medran and Odran, and they are from the 6th century. Saints Medran and Odran were brothers and disciples of Saint Kieran of Ossory, who I think we commemorated back on the 5th of March. One went on to become the founding abbot of a monastery in Muskerry in County Cork, Ireland, while the other remained with Saint Kieran of Ossory. Unfortunately, we no longer have any record of which brother assumed which role. In the group chat, the entries just simply says, Saint Medrod and Odran, brothers and disciples of Saint Kieran of Ossory, 6th century. And our final entry is Saint Palladius, and he is from the 5th century. The group chat just simply says, first bishop of the Scots, bracket 5th century. So, apparently this is the actual Apostle to the Scots. Forgive me, I was always operating under the assumption that it was St. Columba of Iona that was considered the Apostle to Scotland. But anyway, a deacon in Rome, unless the Scots and Scotland are potentially different. Anyway, a deacon in Rome, St. Palladius was consecrated by Pope St. So in the book it says Pope St. Celestine, 6th of April, first bishop of the Scots. I'm not going to pretend to know whether we in the Orthodox Church actually consider him a saint. I hope he is. I don't know too much about the saints of Italy from that time that are Orthodox, so do forgive me. Anyway, he then proceeded to the British Isles, arriving first in Ireland, where he founded several churches before going to Scotland. St. Palladius laboured in Scotland for the rest of his life with great success. For the rest of his life to spread the gospel. He reposed circa AD 450 and was buried at Fordon near Aberdeen. Right, so there's a couple of extra entries in here. So the first, I think there's 2 extra entries in here. So the first is Saint Willibald, Anglo-Saxon missionary to the Germans, Bishop of Eichstätt and Einleiter of Bavaria, who also presumably died in 787. And then there's also Saint Ethelbur of Fair Motiers, also known as Ethelbur, Ethelberga, and Orbia, an Anglo-Saxon princess and abbess of Fair Motiers Abbey. And then in brackets we got a C.664, so don't know if that's her death or not, but yeah. Anyway, may the saints intercede for us before the righteous judge. Before we do end, I do have one last thing to promote to you, as you can probably guess. Saturday, the 26th of July, which is the Saturday coming up, we have Divine Liturgy at St. Lazar's, 9 a.m. We're going to have a day of celebration to St. Kenelm, so it starts off with a liturgy at 9 a.m. at St. Lazar's. We then will be going to St. Kenelm's Well for 4 p.m. in Winchcombe. Address is down here. Gamma Lima 545 Alpha Zulu for anybody that wants the postcode of where we need to go. It'd be great to see any of you there. I assume we're going to just bless the well waters and I think renovate the place where his relics are. I'm not too certain. So do forgive that lack of knowledge on my end. Yeah, I have no excuse, but yeah. Anyway, God bless you all. We've had, 6 entries today, so God bless you all and amen.